The 797th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy using promo code MMASGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. And we're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 a month in cash back rewards when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and you use promo code SGPN.
Adios, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 797 of the MMA Gambling Podcast, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to Josh Emmett's rib cage. It's been a long time since we've seen those bad boys, and boy, they were out last night. He's got like a whole novel written down the side of the one. It's like a pop-up book. It pops right off the screen at you. So this goes out to Josh Emmett's rib cage, because that's the type of show you are tuning into, ladies and gentlemen. That is your warning. It's nonsense like this. I'm one of your hosts. Here's some more nonsense. I am the ass grinder, Jeff Fox, which humors me to no end that when people send me messages on Discord in our Discord channel, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord, it comes out the ass grinder, so which is really humorous for me. The gentleman laughing beside me, that would be Daniel Gumby Reeland. I beat him last night. Well, I got more picks right than he did last night. You
did not beat me money-wise.
But I did not beat him money-wise. No, we both pretty much broke even, but Gumby technically beat me by $30. We don't really want to talk about last night's Apex slop, as Luke.
It was a really bad fight card, right? It was a really bad fight card.
It was very bad. It was. I watched it after the fact, so the fast forward button got used a lot. Every time
How much of Therese Finney versus Robert Valentin did you see?
I watched it all in fast forward, basically, because it was the same every match. And then I saw it was a split decision. And then like, wait, what?
A 30-27 to Valentin? And like, look, I get that the new criteria, or rather the clarified criteria, because it's not really new, but the clarified criteria does emphasize damage over like control. But the bottom line is that the criteria says whoever was closer to finishing the fight should win the decision. Basically, by round. There's no argument that at any point in time Robert Valentin was in a better position. Maybe in the third round. Like I could see giving him the third round. But at no point in those first two rounds did he really have any offense. I don't know how you could possibly score both of them for him.
It was a rough watch last night. Yeah, that's what. And it wasn't a good, really amazingly well put together card to begin with heading in. But there were some prospects and stuff we were interested in, but it's not like it was a star-studded affair that just fizzled out. No, this was predictable. So anyhow, that's the UFC for you. Let's turn to notice how quickly I want to get off the subject because Gumby technically beat me. Let's talk to PFL. How did week one go? PFL expects me to pay like $30 for DAZN each month to watch their product. So I didn't watch it. Obviously I know what's happened, but how do your picks go?
We broke even on PFL. Unfortunately, there was like a lot of chicanery after the after the picks we did. Favorite to win the tournament, Magomed Umalatov came in overweight. They kicked him out of the tournament. Lots of opponent shifts after that, which canceled all of our fights. So I think we made 10 picks for the fight cards between our two shows that we did last week. I think 6 of them still mattered at the end of the day. But we broke even on PFL. I think with the additional fights that would have been in there, we would have probably cleared. But oh well, it is what it is. And as long as we're in the black, which we currently are, that's all that matters.
And the first time ever, I think, on the show, chicanery was said, which is so we at least got that from the event. That's the benefit that we got. All right, we should dive into some PFL. We have got the ladies 125s today, so ladies flyweight, and we got tomorrow. We are going to cover the men's bantamweight. We're splitting up in half by weight class, like we did last episode, because at least the one episode last week, you people came out in droves to watch. So, which is
both of them were well watched. That one, you guys love the welterweights. Something about the welterweights you guys really love. So, hopefully, you like the ladies this much too.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, before we dive into it, hello, friends. Augusta is right around the corner, and SGPN is back with Splash Sports for a big contest up to $30,000 in prizes and only $25 entry fee. Get in today at splashsports.com/SGPN. That's Splash pflsports.com/SGPN. Tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast, Steffi Small Show, and Bottom Line Bombs for all your Masters picks. And apparently I'm going to be doing daily picks as well on the website, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, which will be interesting on me since I don't really follow golf. I'm sure I'll find winners regardless, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're a stats guy.
It's true. It's true.
You'll figure out your niche.
I will. I will find some stats, and yeah, I don't know too much. I'll have to find some advanced stats for the golf. Oh, a sponsor coming up. Maybe it'll help me with that, right? They have stats for that too. All right, let's talk about PFL 2025 World Tournament First Round 2, Week 2. It is going down. Basically, they've set up shop. Probably a good idea for them. They're probably
Just
venue price. Yeah, venue price wise and all that stuff's probably they're probably getting a deal as well, and they probably don't have to move their stuff out every week. But Universal Studios in Florida is what I'm trying to spit out. Orlando is where it's happening again this week, Friday at 8 p.m. So they did it again. I mean, they switched the days. Last week it was Thursday. Now they're back to Friday. So
I saw that.
Probably not PFL's call. It's probably ESPN because they're on ESPN too. But I figure if you're trying to battle the UFC, you should pick a non-UFC night and you should stick to it. And Thursdays could be the PFL night, right? Because there's really no.
Yeah, but I think they want to do Fridays, but I think they were working around college basketball that week.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, but still, Friday's still busy on the MMA front, anyhow. Don Davis is going to Don Davis, right? So right. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. is the start time. I'm sure he has no call on it either. But as I said, we're doing the ladies on this episode, and then tomorrow we will do the bantamweights. All right, thoughts on the women's 125? Obviously, there's one glaring omission. Last year's winner and the PFL Europe champion Dakota Decheva is not in this event. Apparently, she's probably priced herself out of this one, right?
I don't know. And you might remember from last season that I was a big Decheva hater, but she eventually sold me on how damn good she is. And I mean, I want to see her in big fights, and there's no big fights for her in here. So I kind of get it. Like, you want to see her beat up Taila Santos again? You want to see her fight Jenna Bishop again, right? She beat Jenna Bishop once, right? And
you picked against her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love Jenna Bishop. Spoiler alert. I picked against her a bunch. I really did think she was more hyped than she was. And her striking just looked better every time. Her grappling defense got better every time. She is the real deal. I'll relent on that point. And it sucks to not have her in here. But in another sense, it kind of opens up the field, doesn't it? It feels like
it does.
There's 4 or 5 women in this tournament who have a real chance.
All right. Well, what are they going to do with Decheva though? That's the thing. There's no one
to
fight
do
for
anything with it. They're going to waste her.
Yeah.
They're going to do the same thing they're doing with Francis Ngannou. They're going to do the same thing. Don't they own a Paul brother too? Don't
Maybe.
they? Yeah,
they own a Paul brother.
I'm pretty sure they do. I just
the slave owners that are PFL,
the super fight division, which is not even a real thing.
And like they did with all the Bellator stars, they're just gonna have them sit on the sidelines. And
they're gonna leave them on the sidelines until they get old enough to join GFL.
So instead of seeing Decheva 3 times this year, we're probably going to see her once, maybe if we're lucky. Which is
I just hope she fights her contract out and goes somewhere else.
Yeah, it just seems bad business. So anyhow, so that is missing. Everyone, all the usual suspects other than that seem to be in the tournament.
Carmouche, Velasquez, Santos, Bishop, Watanabe. That's everybody you'd expect. I mean, maybe the only one who was a staple of Bellator that somehow didn't wind up on here was Justine Kish, right? Apart from that,
she just fought last weekend. So
did she really?
No, wait a minute. I'm thinking. Who am I thinking of that fought in Octagon? It's not Justine Kish. It's someone that I always.
Oh, Lucy Pudilova.
Yes, I get them mixed up often for some reason, but yes, okay. All right, yeah. So all the usual people. No real obviously, there's not another Dakota Decheva coming up because she's obviously has proven herself to be unique. There's no really exciting prospects in this tournament either, is there?
Well, let's get to the alternate.
Let's get to it. Sure.
All right. One I like.
Nice. Well, good. Maybe there is. All right. We're starting with this is an alternate, right? First fight.
Yep.
Okay. Ekaterina. Shakalova. Ekaterina sounds better. I don't know why I say it like I said it, but maybe I'm not Ukrainian, but still, that's an easy. It's spelled a little different. Ekaterina Shakalova versus Saray Orozco. So we got Ukraine versus Orozco. See, like Jesse Orozco. If it was spelled like Jesse Orozco, I would know. He was before your time, right?
I believe
baseball
so.
pitcher.
Oh, no. He's a reliever
Mets,
for the Mets.
Yeah. Anyhow, Ukraine versus Mexico. So these ladies are the reserve bout. So if someone falls out of the tournament, they would step in. So this would happen, like, say, well, obviously if someone misses weight this week, then the winner of this bout, or actually if it was before they fought, someone from this bout would step in. What if, like, second round, someone misses weight? Would the winner of this bout jump right into the semifinals? Do you know?
I assume they will have them on weight and ready for those fights.
Right, cool.
That's my assumption.
All right, let's dive into it now. 3 5-minute rounds, 125. You people probably don't care about any of that. You just care about who you should pick to win money on it, because that's really all that matters. I take it you have seen the odds, right?
Oh, yeah, I've seen the odds for everything.
Yep. All right, Orozco is Killer Queen, 8-6. Did she come out to the song? Do you know? Killer Queen?
I don't know. That'd be good.
She's 8-6, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. She's been submitted once. 0-1 in PFL. She's 2-1 over her last 3, 4-2 over her last 6. Did lose her last fight, though. She's a regional champ. Used to fight at 115, 2015 pro MMA debut. 3 inches height, 2 inches of reach over Shakalova, plus 220. Shakalova is a fun name to say. Shakalova is 8-2, 1 knockout, 4 submissions. She's been submitted once. These ladies owe us some finishes, don't you think? This is her debut. 7-1 over her last 8. She did lose her last fight, though. She went 1-1 to Bellator. She's got multiple regional championships on her
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, get her merch, get all their good stuff at sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. You can try the code Madness. Maybe they still have it going in April. I'm not sure. If they do, 20% off. Used to fight at 135 and 145. 6 years younger than Orozco, minus 280.
I'm going Shakalova, and this is the one I'm excited about. I actually think she'd beat 3, maybe 4 of the people who are actually in the tournament, and I'd give her like a long shot chance against the 5th one. So like, I actually think she should probably just be in the tournament over some of the people who are in there. Granted, she is coming off of a loss. You know, you mentioned she's 7-1 in her last 8. That loss is to Aspen Ladd at featherweight. I went and watched that fight, and I was like, man, she is stacky. And then I was like, oh, wait, she's usually 20 pounds lighter than this. And for some reason went up to featherweight to fight Aspen Ladd. And not for anything, she kind of ragdolled Aspen Ladd in the wrestling. You know, and like, she didn't hang with her on the feet because Ladd had way more reach, because she's going to have way more reach. This is a flyweight versus a featherweight. But like, you know, she hung enough on the feet and then got her wrestling going. It was really dominating Aspen Ladd with the takedowns. She kept getting them. She's relentless with them. She got a nice double. She knee tapped a couple of times and turned the corner, which was, you know, some like high level wrestling type stuff. And then when you look at Saray Orozco, like, she's really a strawweight. You know, like there's no reason for her to come up to flyweight other than her organization suddenly doesn't have her weight class anymore. And so like, she's gonna come up to flyweight here and fight somebody who is ragdolling featherweights. And you know, Orozco's got a little bit better boxing, I would say, but again, hard to say when she's fighting strawweights and the other one is fighting featherweights. But like, you know, nice long jab, you know, sometimes sneaks the 2 in behind that. But the bottom line is like, you know, occasionally you'll see her wanting to go for the wrestling and get to that clinch, and she's kind of getting, I wouldn't say bullied in the clinch up against the fence, but like, you know, she was losing exchanges up against the fence with, you know, was it Samika Amaba she fought last? Samika Amaba was dealing with the wrestling, and not that Amaba, again, not a great wrestler, but I like Shakalova even better. So I'm going to go with Shakalova here. I think the wrestling's going to be too much. Would not be surprised if she like won by like arm triangle choke or something here.
Look at you. See how precise he's getting? You don't get that anywhere else. That's why we get so many views and downloads and listens, Gumby. You tell the people how someone
the Shakalova triangles.
The Shakalova. No, chicanery was going to be our title, but the Shakalova triangles may be better, because that may bring more people into our tent. All right. So you're basically you're big on her as prospect, but the bad part is they didn't include her in the main tournament. So you may
not until somebody misses weight really badly.
You see what's going to happen more than likely. Yeah. What are they going to? Is it just because he missed weight by is there a certain amount that they won't?
I think it's just in the contract that like, so like when you think about a UFC fight, right? Somebody's going to take that fight because the guy's a little bit overweight, right? Because they want the money,
they want to get paid.
And then like you just pretend that they were in the right weight class and you tell him to make sure he makes it next time or he's going up.
Yeah.
This one, it's like an advantage and it's a tournament. So like if you wind up beating that guy, then like what do we do with that? Like what do we do when the guy who misses weight doesn't get penalized. So like, I think they just have a hard and fast rule, like either make weight or we'll replace you. And we have replacements on hand.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure for $500,000, not even $1 million anymore. All right. Before we dive into the rest of the picks, let me tell you about Edge Boost. SGPN is partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. You know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. The best part is no credit checks and it's completely free. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport, including Crown College basketball games, which I think probably is over by the time I think their championships on Monday. I don't know. Anyhow,
it's on Monday. It's on Monday.
Is it Monday? Theirs is Monday too. Okay, cool. It's a brand new college basketball tournament if you've not been following it. Plus, they have props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposits, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Obviously, Kyle Filipkowski's got about 5 games left, approximately, for you to get in on his prop bets on MyBookie. But they'll have PFL, they'll have UFC, they'll have all that stuff as well. When you do head to mybookie.ag, use the promo code MMASGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. Hope people are getting good lines on Kyle Filipkowski because he's kind of up and down, right? He's not like he's a rookie, so he's not super consistent.
Dude is great for a double just about every night, though.
Oh, look, listen to you.
That's sometimes he's like 11-11, but it's not like he's not like a great fantasy own, but like
no,
he's gonna give you 11-11.
Maybe he may find a spot on your team next year. I'm thinking, Gumby, if you didn't already this year.
I got him on there. Yeah. I got him for my championship run. Yeah.
Nice. Are you in the finals?
As long as Sunday doesn't go terribly for me, I'll be in the basketball finals. Yeah, I'm winning right now. Time of recording.
That's what people care about on a PFL podcast. The people mentioned when we talk about the UFC off the top, and now we're talking about fantasy basketball. All right. This is a tournament proper now. Elora Dana from Brazil. Diana Avsaragova from Russia. She was one of Bellator's hopes, right? Because
she was their darling. Wasn't she the one who beat the heck out of the she was like a model, but she won a kickboxing match against somebody who was like 31 times her weight. You remember that?
Oh,
I think that's her.
Or did she fight a man? You mean? Because I've seen somewhere.
Maybe she bought a
500-pound fat guy.
Yeah, 500-pound fat guy who couldn't punch. Really,
I'm not sure, but then she got to Bellator and started losing to real fighters and missing weight. So, you know who she lost to her last bout? The aforementioned Justine Kish. So there you go.
Yeah,
it all comes together.
Justine Kish.
All right. Anyhow, she's in the big time now. This Avsaragova. She is the dog in this fight, though. I will tell you about her first. Pantera, not the Pantera, just Pantera. So she's Panther, not the Panther. Not the Panther like the UFC has. She is 6-1, 1 knockout, 1 submission. She's never been finished. This is her debut. As I mentioned, she lost her last fight. That was her first career loss. That was back in 2023, I believe. I didn't mark that down, but I think she's been on the shelf for quite a while. Yes. So she's not fought since August 2023. She's not won since February 2023. She's missed weight in her past 2 bouts at this weight class. So as Gumby said, once someone misses weight, hopefully Shakalova can step right in. This may be the actual bout that she gets to step in on. So she went 4-1 in Bellator, missed weight 2 times, as I mentioned. Used to fight at 135. Probably still should if she's missing weight. An inch fight over Dana or Donna. Is it Donna or Dana? Do you know?
I think it's Dana, but I'm not positive.
Plus 125. Oh, and the dude you interviewed, apparently the UFC says his name differently than you did. The guy last week.
Luis Garuli.
Yeah, Garuli, they were saying.
He never corrected me. Polite. That's not on me.
But he seems like a polite guy, though, so that might be why. All right. And he had the top turtle. He got the old top turtle bump last night, didn't he, Gumby? Anyhow, let's tell you about Dana. 7-0. Odie Osborne is also was on Dan's show back in the day, so they canceled each other out. Dana 7-0, 1 knockout, 4 submissions. This is her debut. She's a regional champ. Used to fight at 115, minus 155. I will stop derailing the podcast, and Gumby will give you more picks. Now, go ahead.
I'm going to go with Avsaragova. I'm going to take her as an underdog here. I watched the tape on Dana, and like pretty much what you're looking at is somebody with a lot of power and not a lot else going on. You know, both on the grappling side and the striking side, big winging shots. She doesn't keep her feet underneath her well, so she's not even like, while they're big winging shots, they're not generating as much power they could if she was like sitting into them and using her hips. So she's kind of sloppy on the feet. And then like she's got a little bit of wrestling, but it seems like pretty much all the positions she was either fighting somebody who wasn't very good, and as a result was getting takedowns in kind of a sloppy manner, or she was just like overly muscling them. And like, I can't imagine that working against Avsaragova. Either of those things, because the striking shouldn't work against Avsaragova because, first of all, she's just like very safe defensively. She throws a lot of those flicking push kicks and stuff like that. She's just going to maintain range. And anytime Dana tries to like enter it, she's going to hit her with a jab, a quick push kick, and move out of the way. She's going to fight like basically point karate the whole time. And then Avsaragova, she comes from a wrestling background. So she, while it's not maybe her forte anymore or the thing she does the most anymore, I think with the sloppy takedowns of Dana, I don't think they're going to play up against Avsaragova. I think she's just going to basically shut down all of the like high energy stuff Dana does early, pick her apart, throw enough punches to win rounds, and probably pick up a decision. But you're right. Should this wind up being Shakalova, I'd like to be on record saying I think she'd beat both of these two.
What if it was Dana White fighting instead of Elora Dana?
I don't think it gets any better. I don't think it gets any better.
All right, good. So a Russian, female Russian model would beat up Dana White, and he probably would like that though. So, all right. So you have got a dog, which is good. Pantera is our pick. We are moving to a favorite of Gumby's. He may have tipped his hand at the top of the podcast to the play here, but let's hear him explain his rationale here. Excuse me. Jena Bishop, the grappling ace from the United States, versus Kana Watanabe from Japan. 3 5-minute rounds, as all these are, at 125. Watanabe is 13-3-1, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions. She's been knocked out once, submitted once, 1-1 in PFL, 2-1 over her last 3, 3-3 over her last 6. She got submitted in her last bout. 4-2 in Bellator. 2 years younger, 2 inches of height over Bishop, plus 135. Bishop 7-2 with 4 submissions. She's been knocked out once. 1-2 in the PFL. She's lost 2 straight, including getting TKO'd in her last bout. Gumby had her as a big dog there, but he had not. He was resisting sipping the Dakota Ditcheva Kool-Aid at that point, but he is fully indoctrinated now. Bishop, according to Tapology, she's 9-5 as a grappler, but I'm sure she's way more than that. Yep. She's got multiple grappling championships. That is basically where that's her forte, is grappling. She's at -165.
Yeah, I'm going Jena Bishop. And the big piece for me here is just that Watanabe, her movement in grappling, because she comes from, if I'm not mistaken, a judo background. In her movements in grappling just tend to be too high risk. So when you think about, judo takedowns, a lot of them involve, throwing the hips into your opponent's hip, turning your back to them, throwing them up over the top. And like, those tend to be, especially if you don't have the grips entirely and you're like forcing it, tend to be more risky moves, especially when you're up against somebody who has exceptional back takes and does a really good job of sinking in submissions and things like that. Like, you don't want to be doing that to Jena Bishop. I don't know necessarily how a striking match would go between these two, because they both do seem to prefer working it on the mat. But I like Jena Bishop's wrestling better than I like Watanabe's judo. And then in addition to that too, when you consider like that Watanabe has just like had trouble with submission defense in the past, like she was probably going to win that fight with Liz Carmouche, because Liz Carmouche looked like she was out of gas and it looked like the decision was going her way. And then just like armbarred immediately, and like she didn't really defend it in any kind of intelligible way. So for me, I like Jena Bishop's chance to catch her at some point in time, and that's if she doesn't dominate the grappling in the first place. So I'm going to take Jena Bishop here. You said -165. That's not a bad line at all on her.
Yep. Watanabe's a fourth Dan black belt in judo. So you're right. She's got a judo background, but judo really has not, other than obviously Rousey and Kayla Harrison. It seems, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be the greatest base for MMA.
Well, and like, so when Rousey was doing it, she was doing it like pure judo way, right? Like she was the big hip tosses straight to an armbar and stuff like that. Kayla Harrison's not like that, right? Kayla Harrison is, I would argue Kayla Harrison's got phenomenal wrestling, never mind judo, right? Like she's got a really nice double leg. She's exceptional at running the pipe. Like she does all those things. So, I think judo is best used when in conjunction with other things, and more in the foot sweeps, inside trips than it is with the big throws.
There you go with the foot sweeps again. You want us to fight about foot sweeps again?
Did you see Loma Lubume hit a foot sweep?
Yeah. I don't think I skipped through that part of the fight, but like I said, a lot of fast forwarding last night. All right. Before we get to a fighter Gumby just mentioned, let me tell you about a couple more of our sponsors before we dive into the last two fights of the episode. Underdog Fantasy. It's time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick'em. Underdog pick'em. You can play up any sport and win up to 100 times your plays. All right, Gumby, what you got?
So with a big pay-per-view this weekend, I'm just doing UFC picks for you guys all week. So the first one, I'm going to give you Julian Erosa higher than 50.5 significant strikes, because basically my point is anybody fighting Darren Elkins is going to land at least 51 significant strikes. So give me the higher than on Julian Erosa's significant strikes.
All right, there you go. Take that. And more importantly, take our code MMA SGPN. And you get to claim a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits at underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. So get on there. Rhythm is your home for AI backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Hooray, baseball. Plus they got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good it feels like cheating. That could have been our tagline too. Building your own model is simple and easy. Obviously, Kyle Filipkowski plays they have. As Al Horford, I haven't forgotten about you. You did good against my Suns the other day. I haven't forgotten about you, old dog. So get on there, check it all out. Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All righty. We got two fights left. Liz Carmouche, she would be the aforementioned fighter that Gummy just talked about. Ilara, Joanne, she's fighting the U.S. versus Brazil. Let's break her down, shall we? Joanne is Arya Stark, which the nerds know is from that Game of Thrones show. And she actually does look like that actress. She's 12-9, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. She's been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times. 1-1 in PFL, 1-3 over her last 4, 3-5 over her last 8, 3-4 in Bellator. A lot of losing records I'm reading off here. Used to fight at 135, 2013 pro MMA debut, 10 years younger than Carmouche. There's a positive for her, plus 350. Gorilla is 22-8, 9 knockouts, 6 submissions. She's been submitted twice. She's very durable, as I like to say. 2-1 in PFL. She's won 9 of 10. Did lose her last fight, though. She's missed weight before at 125. I think she just did miss weight. I think it might have been her last bout. 7-0 in Bellator and a champion there. 5-5 in the UFC. Used to fight at 135. 2010 pro MMA debut. 0-2 in pro grappling. 3 inches height, 2 inches reach over Joanne, minus 450. So that's a massive line for a aging fighter.
I like how Carmouche is 7-0 in Bellator, and three of those fights are Juliana Velasquez.
Yes, I know. They just kept replaying it. At least she's not fighting her this week. I'm surprised.
Oh, I think the last one of those was in PFL, actually. I take that back. The last one,
but the old PFL would have set her up against Velasquez again. So maybe they're learning. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm going Carmouche. I don't think Joanne has the takedown defense to deal here. And like on the feet, there's some things she does that are, possibly could give Carmouche problems, but like she doesn't pack enough power that she's going to put her away. So like when you think about how she's going to have to win rounds, she's going to have to stuff takedowns, right? Like there's no way she wins this fight without stuffing probably 10 takedowns and forcing Carmouche to box with her. And even then, I'm not sure she wins. Like I said, she's got some stuff that she does. I like the way sometimes she steps in and throws she doubles up the jab and then works. Sometimes it's the body, sometimes it's the head, but like she doubles up the jab to try to like keep you off balance. All that's great, but like I see Carmouche just getting under those jabs and grabbing the legs and taking her down. There's not really much to break down here. We all know what Liz Carmouche is at this point. Liz Carmouche has always been a beast mode wrestler. I mean, go back to before she was in the UFC. She was, 2-1 on people in Strikeforce. She took Ronda Rousey's back in the first ever women's UFC fight. She
got bit. That's the only reason she let go, right? Apparently,
I don't think she had the choke, to be fair. But also, no. She's always been game as hell and a really good wrestler. Yeah. And the only person who like went to the ground with Ronda and like fared halfway decent, she up there with Miesha Tate, right? Because Miesha Tate hung around for a little bit on the ground before she had her elbow broken. But like Joanne isn't that level. And Carmouche is still kind of kicking around that level. It doesn't look like she's diminished all that much over the years.
Yep. There you go. All right. Even though you said you thought she was getting tired her last bout, so that could be, and she missed weight, so we may be getting some warning signs here. But you think at least she can make it through this?
But is Joanne going to put her away?
Yeah, it's a thing. This round she can make it through.
And the way Watanabe made that a fight, right, is because when she got tired, Watanabe's judo took over. But like Joanne doesn't have the wrestling to like or any kind of grappling art that's going to make that tricky.
Yeah. Is she set up to fight Velasquez though next round? Because Velasquez.
No, I think
if
this is anything like the other tournaments, so far I've noticed that the first and third fight each other in the second round, and second and fourth. So I believe that's still how it's set up. So it would be cool. Jena Bishop in the winner of the main event, and Liz Carmouche and Avsaragova if she wins. Yeah.
All right, cool. And the main event is Taila Santos from Brazil versus Juliana Velasquez from Brazil as well. Wrapping up the first round of the women's flyweight tournament. Velasquez is 13-3, 5 knockouts, 1 submission, 1-1 in PFL, 1-3 over her last 4. Won her last bout though via TKO. She didn't fight Liz Carmouche, so she actually won a fight. 7-2 in Bellator and a champion there. Regional champ as well. Used to fight at 135. 2014 pro MMA debut. 2 inches taller than Santos, plus 275. Santos is 22-4, 10 knockouts, 4 submissions. She's been knocked out 1 time. She's very durable, Jeff would say. 3-1 in PFL. She's won 3 of her last 4, but she did lose her last bout via TKO to Dakota Tcheva. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So that's why they took that bully out of this tournament. Now we can get a mediocre champion. 4-3 in the UFC. 1-0 Contender Series. I could ask you who she beat, but that was a long time ago.
Brazilian Contender Series.
Yeah, that's one of your weak spots too, one of your blind spots, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna find it, Gumby, because I brought it up. I made the mistake of bringing it up. That would have been like what, almost 10 years ago?
No, not quite. Probably 18.
2018. Yeah. She beat someone named Estefany Almeida. Have you ever heard of her before?
Yep.
You do know her. Okay. She's regional champ. Santos used to fight at 135. 2013 pro MMA debut. 7 years younger than Velasquez. Minus 333.
Yeah, I'm going Santos. I don't see any reason to get behind Velasquez just because Santos can do what Liz Carmouche did if she really wants to, right? Like she could just grapple her. We watched Taila Santos pretty much just grapple Valentina Shevchenko and damn near almost win that fight, right? So is there any reason to think she couldn't do the same against Velasquez, seeing as Carmouche did? I mean, Carmouche did 2 out of those 3 fights, right? One of them, she was getting beat up until she pulled it out from nowhere. But like, Santos could just do exactly what she did in those fights she won. And on top of that, like Taila Santos's hands are way better, right? Like she puts her combinations together really nicely. Granted, she did get pieced up in her last fight, but I think if you're putting Velasquez in the same boat as Dakota Tcheva in terms of striking, you've got some issues. So, I think younger, faster, the hands are crisper, has the takedown advantage. I'm kind of surprised she's not as big of a favorite as Liz Carmouche is. Maybe it's just because Velasquez is a touch better than Ilara Joanne, but like, yeah, this is Taila Santos all day for me. All
right. So there are your first round picks. Let me recap it and we'll see how Gumby thinks the whole thing's going to play out. He's got Santos. He's got Carmouche. He's got Bishop. He has got Avsaragova. He has got Shakalova. All right. How is it playing out? Doesn't seem to really be a clear favorite like there was last year.
I mean, if it's chalk, I would expect Liz Carmouche versus Taila Santos in the finals. Mm-hmm. Jena Bishop did have that split decision with Taila Santos and would be lined up for a semifinal fight with her. Like this would be a really great breakthrough moment for her career to get that one back and make it to the finals and then fight, probably Carmouche. I mean, to me, the only way Carmouche, if the bracket is set up the way that I think it is, which is Dana and Avsaragova and Joanne and Carmouche all on the same side, I can't imagine that Carmouche doesn't wind up in the finals unless Shakalova somehow finds her way in. Because those other 3 women aren't doing anything to Liz Carmouche. So, yeah, I mean, like Liz Carmouche is probably one of the co-favorites along with whoever gets through the Jena Bishop, Taila Santos fight that will most likely happen.
You know what the PFL website says this event coming up is? It's bantamweights and women's featherweights is what it says. So good job, PFL. You don't even know what. It's flyweights, ladies and gentlemen. It's flyweights.
So close.
You're only 10 pounds off. Or no, 20 pounds
20.
off. You're not. Yeah. You mentioned a weight class you don't even have. All right. You're all set for the PFL, half of the PFL. Tomorrow we shall do the men's bantamweight. So they got that part right. PFL did. Maybe that's why everyone tunes into our stuff, because we're the only place that actually has the legit info. Perhaps not even the source has it. You can get more legit info in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord, on YouTube, MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. That would help us out. Thank you very much. And like some videos, give us some thumbs up too, and comment. I think that helps the old algorithm On Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Check out my Substack. Enter my UFC 314 Pick'em contest for free at moneymma.substack.com. You can listen to Gumby at Top Turtle MMA Podcast. Maybe he knows who's on this week. Do you know who's on this week?
Yeah, we're talking to Juicy J, Juliana Rosa, and Josh Reddinghouse, who we'll be talking about on tomorrow's episode.
We shall. All right. So check out Top Turtle MMA every week. It's always good, no matter who is on. SportsGamblingPodcast.com is the place to go for all your sports gambling needs. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/store. Try Madness at checkout. It might get you 20% off. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Patreon to get bonus content. Don't forget about our app. Make sure you download the app in the App Store, SGPN. And when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy and or mybookie.ag, it would help us out greatly if you use the code MMASGPN. You get a little something special if you use that, and we do too. So it would help us out greatly. We'll be back tomorrow. It'll be Gorilla, Jeff Fox, Killer Queen, Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.